What is up, guys? I am Seven, and welcome to my channel. I'm just out here today doing a little bit of riding before I have to go back to instructing my Handle with Care class. Not really instructing, I'm more demonstrating. I have to get the certification, but I was trained in Handle with Care for like the past 7 years. I was just recently given the opportunity to train as an instructor. Just gonna go out right ahead and do that, get that certification. Anyway, all that aside, I just want to touch base on my previous video. I was talking about blockers. Who was it? Precise. Yeah, I think that's what his YouTube handle was. Precise actually mentioned in the comments something that I forgot to bring up during my video. And that was no one who's a newbie should be a blocker. And he also mentioned something that is extremely common and it's something that I honestly had to kind of like grapple with as a new rider. When I just started riding, I really wanted to be a blocker because I was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get to learn a bunch of stuff. No. All right, so if you want to train as a blocker, you ask a blocker to train. Hold up. If you want to train as a blocker, you ask someone who's been doing it for a while with that group you want to block for to train you. You need to find out what the group expects of you as a blocker. Even though they might want to help, no one who's brand spanking new to riding motorcycles should ever be put in the position of having to worry about everyone else in the group like blockers do. As a newbie, you're still learning the ropes with any group that you're riding with. You're still learning the proper riding technique that the group rides. You're still learning how your group navigates the flow of traffic. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and you might not necessarily be aggressive enough yet on the bike. Now, when I say aggressive, I don't necessarily mean like you're there flipping people off as a blocker. You know, it takes a lot of cojones to be a blocker. A lot of knowledge and a lot of cojones. You need to know how to effectively stop traffic. You can't just go rushing out in front of someone, in front of a car, expecting them all of a sudden to stop. That's something you learn over time. That's something you learn after riding with a group and having a mentor for blocking. I don't think there's anyone who goes into being a blocker who just instantly knows what to do. That just doesn't happen. You could watch as many YouTube videos as you want on it. When push comes to shove, nothing beats personal experience. And your the lead rider for your group needs to be able to trust you to know your shit and know what you're doing. So please, if you're a new rider, please do not go into being a blocker thinking that you're being helpful and you're gonna try to get to know people and that this is a great experience for you to learn. It's about knowing your shit already and being there to help support your fellow riders. You should not be going in as a blocker trying to learn how to block in the middle of a giant group ride where people are relying on you for their personal safety. So again, thank you, Precise. You made amazing points, and thank you again for mentioning something that I really should have touched on in my previous video. I was more focused on the group. So thanks again for bringing that to my attention and prompting me to kind of make a response video for that. I really appreciate you, man. Oh, and I just want to say, if you go up to one of your group leads as a relatively fresh rider and you mention to them, hey, I want to start learning how to block, I don't think there's a group lead out there who's going to say, nah, I don't think we're going to take the time and teach you. As a community, we're pretty good about that, especially hearing that someone wants to be a blocker, because trust me, that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. I wouldn't expect a newbie rider to have to deal with that. And again, people's lives are in your hands. So if you go up to a group lead or a group in general and say, hey, can anyone like teach me how to be a blocker? I'm sure people would jump at the chance to teach you because, heck man, we need more blockers out there. But we need more skilled and practiced blockers. People who know the rules of the road in the state, people who are used to riding with that group, people who are familiar with everyone's bike in the group, people who know how to stop traffic or divert the flow of traffic. There's so much that goes into it, as I've, been rattling on about. But yeah, definitely, if you want to learn how to do it, definitely ask, man. People will help you. People will teach you. Who knows, maybe you might get asked to shadow. But don't put that responsibility on yourself when you're just starting out. When you're just starting out, only focus on your own riding skill and improving your own riding ability. That's all any of us really want you to do. And that's all that should be expected of you. Again, just making that response video. I'm gonna call that here, guys. Thanks for joining me on this little bit of a rant. I felt like it was really important to kind of touch on, just so people who are getting into riding know what they're getting into when they consider becoming a blocker. I'm not trying to deter you. I'm just saying, make sure you train up and you know your because that is one position you need to know your Until next time, guys, I love your faces, and I'll see you on the next one. Later!